Welcome back to Average Dad's Garage. My sons and I love to car camp and kayak camp, and I found over the years that not only are buckets a great way to get your gear out to the campsite, but when accessorized properly, help to keep your gear organized and easily accessible. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Yeti Bucket and what just might be a Yeti Bucket killer. We're going to review features, benefits, and costs, and at the end, I'm going to let you know what bucket I think is better. Before we start, I'd like to say that I am not sponsored by any of the products you're going to see here today. I purchased both of these setups with my own money, and this is my honest opinion. In this video, I will be comparing each accessory, starting with the lids. First, we'll start with the Yeti lid. The Yeti lid has got a honeycomb grid underneath, keeps this lid very strong and rigid. You're able to sit on this lid without worrying about damaging it. It does have an O-ring that runs the entire perimeter of the lid that helps keep a watertight seal. There is a pressure relief valve on here that prevents the lid from getting stuck on during temperature changes. One neat thing I like about this lid is it is a completely flat surface, so you can use this as a table at your campsite. A couple things I don't like about the Yeti lid is first, this is clear plastic. What that means is if there's any moisture in your bucket, the sun can penetrate this lid and create a lot of condensation in there. Second thing I don't like is this is the lid. Because Yeti has a patented bucket size, this is the only lid that's available. There are no other accessories that you can purchase for this. Last thing I don't like about this is the cost. This lid on the Yeti website is $30. I'm going to talk about the lid that I have for my other setup. This is a Plano tackle box bucket topper. A couple things I like about this. First, the lid opens up in two halves. Makes the gear very accessible if we're kayaking and I need to get a quick access item. Inside, there are two trays that are portioned off into smaller sections. You can keep things like lighters and fire starters and stuff like that in here. One thing I really like about this lid is these tray organizers come out on both sides. And it leaves you with a much deeper well, so if you want to keep some taller profile items, you can keep them in this lid, still have them easily accessible. The thing I really like about this lid is the price. On Amazon right now, you can get this lid for $12.99. Things I don't like about this bucket topper are first, these trays are great and do keep smaller items easily accessible. However, if you need to put something larger in here, these middle partitions don't slide out. So you end up cutting them out, which can be pretty difficult. If these were to pull out like a typical tackle box, it would make this a lot better. Second thing I don't like is this is not a waterproof lid. There is a vent hole right here that does allow water to get into your bucket. While this is a tight-fitting lid, it is not waterproof. Next, we're going to be talking about bucket caddies. First, we'll talk about the Yeti. A couple things I like about this. First, this is a very deep caddy. We like to keep quick access food items in here, such as snacks and hot chocolate and things like that. This is broken up into 3 compartments. You've got 2 quarter compartments and 1 large compartment, 1 half compartment here. This is a very deep caddy as well, so it holds a lot of items. A couple things I don't like about this one is, one, this is designed for the Yeti bucket, so this will only fit in the Yeti bucket. It will not fit in a standard 5-gallon bucket. Second thing that I don't like, and it's not as big of a deal, is the price. This caddy is $20. We'll talk about the SureHold bucket caddy that I have for my other setup. A couple things I like about this. First, it's broken up into 2 compartments instead of 3. This allows me to put my camp kitchen items in here, such as my fuel and pot and things like that. I like the price on this. This is $9.88 on Amazon. Couple cons. First, there are holes in the bottom of it, so I'm not able to set this on the ground without worrying about getting my items dirty. Second thing I don't like about this, and we'll go over this when we're talking about the buckets themselves, but this sits at the bottom of the bucket versus the Yeti caddy, which sits at the top of the bucket. Because of that, if you're looking to get quick access items out of this caddy and pull it out, you have to remove everything else out of the bucket. Next, we're going to talk about the gear pouches for the outside of the bucket. First, we'll talk about the Yeti. A couple things I like about this gear pouch right off the bat is first how it fits to the bucket. So this gear pouch slides on the bottom of the bucket, and then it's got these little T connectors that actually slide down through the bucket and Velcro on in there. It makes this very, very secure. I don't have to worry about this gear pouch sliding down. I also like that it's got some nice wide pouches. We keep a lot of food items in here and camp kitchen gear in here. It's got a couple of big pockets here. And then a few of these are broken up into smaller portions, help you keep some smaller items in there. It's also got molly loops around the outside so you can clip on bottle openers and knives and things like that. A few things I don't like about this. First are the fact that the pouches do not close. These are open all the time. When we're car camping, it's not that big of a deal because I really don't have to worry about anything falling out of this. But if we're kayak camping and I've got gear in here and we tip over one of the kayaks, all of my gear is going to come out. I'm going to lose whatever's in these pouches. Last thing that I don't like is the cost of it. It is $40, which I think is pretty expensive for a gear pouch. The one on my other bucket's not much cheaper, so there's not really much you can do there. But overall, it's a pretty good gear pouch. Next, we're going to talk about the gear pouch that I have on my other bucket. So this is a Milwaukee gear pouch. This is designed for tools. Right off the bat, a couple things I really like about this one is first, it's got two zippered pockets. We've got this large pocket here that has a smaller pocket on the inside. I've got a Velcro pocket here and a small zipper pocket here. This is great for when we're kayak camping because I know that if I tip my kayak over and I've got anything in these three pockets, nothing's gonna fall out, everything's secure. Next, this one has a lot more molly loops all around the outside of the bucket. It helps me to attach knives and bottle openers and a lot more accessories here. And then all around this bucket gear pouch, just like the Yeti one, we've got a bunch of different pockets of different sizes. We can keep our camp shovel in here, soap, bug spray, quick access items that I need to get access to. A couple things I don't like about this bucket gear pouch is first the way it attaches to the bucket. So this has a clasp that you kind of cinch around the top of the bucket. And what I found is when I have this thing weighed down with gear, this likes to fall off. So what I ended up doing was riveting the gear pouch in 6 different places around. Does keep this very, very solid on here now. It doesn't fall down, but it's stuck on this bucket permanently unless I want to drill it out. Another thing, so the cost on this is $32.97 on the Home Depot website. A little bit cheaper than the Yeti gear pouch, but still pretty expensive. Overall, this is a great gear pouch. I really like using it. Last, we're going to talk about the buckets themselves. First, we'll start with the Yeti bucket. A couple things that I like about this Yeti bucket. First is this is a thicker material plastic than a standard 5-gallon bucket. Kind of helps keep everything insulated on the inside, nice and cool. The handle on this thing is fantastic. So it is a 1-inch like web strapped handle. Very, very comfortable to hold. The hand grip on this thing is fantastic. It fits perfectly in the palm of my hand. Makes this bucket absolutely easy to pick up and carry. Last thing I really like about this, and we talked about this with the caddies, is inside this bucket, there's a lip around the inside that allows this caddy to sit right at the top. The caddy doesn't fall all the way to the bottom. That means if you've got quick access items in here, you can get to there, pull this out, and you can put other items in the bottom of the bucket without worrying about it getting squished. A couple things I don't like about this bucket. First is going to be the cost. This bucket is $40 versus $6.97 for a Home Depot bucket that we have on this other setup. One other thing I don't like about this, because it's a patented design, only Yeti accessories fit on this bucket. I can't put a standard 5-gallon lid on here. Only the Yeti caddy will fit in the top of this. This gear pouch, because this bucket is a little bit long or wider, only this gear pouch is going to fit on here. Next, we'll talk about my other setup. So this is a standard 5-gallon bucket. A couple things I like about it are first, the cost. This bucket was $6.97, and there are way cheaper buckets out there. You can get a bucket as low as like $2.50 if you look around. Second thing that I really like about this is a standard 5-gallon bucket. What that means is you can put any 5-gallon bucket accessory you want to on here. There are many companies that make different gear pouches, different caddies, different lids. Sky's the limit for what you want to do for this bucket to meet your needs. A couple things I don't like about this bucket, or any standard 5-gallon bucket for that matter, is the handle. This has just got the standard wire 5-gallon bucket handle with the cheap plastic hand grip. The Milwaukee gear pouch did come with a padded Velcro grip, which does make this bucket a little bit easier to carry. Second thing I don't like about is with the gear caddy. So unlike the Yeti bucket where the gear caddy can sit at the top, this gear caddy has to slide all the way down to the bottom of the bucket. So that means anything you have in there that you want to have access to by pulling the gear caddy out, you would have to remove any other item that you have inside the bucket to get access to that gear caddy. Last, we're going to talk about the complete setups. First, we'll start with the Yeti. This bucket with all the accessories is very heavy. Bucket, lid, caddy, and pouch, 10 pounds, 2 ounces. Next, we got to talk about the cost. This whole setup on the Yeti website is $130 before tax. Last, and again, we touch base on this, these are the accessories that you can purchase for this bucket. This is the only lid you can purchase. That's the only caddy you can purchase. That is the only gear pouch that you can purchase. Next, we'll talk about this setup here. Bucket, lid, caddy, and gear pouch weighs 5 pounds, 7 ounces, which means this weighs half as much as the Yeti setup. Next is the cost. For the 2 items that I purchased off of Amazon, 2 items I purchased from Home Depot, $62.42. So not only is this bucket lighter, but it is 50% cheaper than the Yeti setup. One last thing that I really like about this is because it is a standard 5-gallon bucket and they make so many accessories for it, you can do almost whatever you want to with this bucket. If you don't like this lid because it's too deep, Bucket Boss makes a smaller lid with smaller compartments on the inside, a lot narrower profile though to give you more room on the inside of the bucket. If you don't like the 2-compartment organizer, Bucket Boss makes 4-compartment organizers that stack on top of each other so that you can put more items in here and can pull the caddies out individually without burying all of your items. So what bucket is the better setup? I think that really depends on what you're using it for. I will tell you, we use both of these buckets regularly. If we're car camping or we're kayak camping with multiple people, we're gonna bring the Yeti bucket and put our food items in there. The caddy sitting at the top makes it easy to grab quick access food items, and we can put some bigger food items at the bottom. And we'll use this bucket for our gear. We'll put our camp kitchen in here, camp shovel, soaps, bug sprays, things like that on the outside pockets that I need quick access to, but also need to be secure. If I'm solo kayak camping, this is the only bucket I'm gonna bring. Again, I'm able to keep my camp kitchen inside of here. I've got access to quick access items like lighters and knives and flashlights and things like that. And I'm able to secure my items in these zippered pouches without worrying about them falling out in a lake or river, whatever I'm in. So I think it really depends on what you want to use these buckets for. If I had to choose one of these buckets, it's gonna be this setup here. Not only is it cheaper than the Yeti setup, it is lighter than the Yeti setup, and I feel more confident that my gear is secure in this setup. I appreciate you guys watching my video, and we'll see you on the next one.